Welcome to the next video in the evolution topic. This video will be looking at life on Earth. Point 8.4.43, discuss using examples the impact of changes in technology on the development and revision of biological classification systems. So up until now, we've been looking at technology in a number of different areas to do with evolution. This one in particular looks at technology and classification, however. So firstly, we had the light microscope. As we know, in 1665, Robert Hooke used the microscope to look at the cellular structure of organisms, and this began to help us understand that there was a cellular difference between plant and animal groups. Antoine von Leeuwenhoek also observed bacteria, leading to the inclusion of the Protista kingdom. Then we had the introduction of the electron microscopes in the 1930s. These allowed us to view the internal structures of cells, and as we know, smaller organelles such as ribosomes, the Golgi apparatus, and inside of the nucleus allowed us to then expand on our classification system and led to the division of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So as we know, our eukaryotes have a true nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles where our prokaryotes don't, and we weren't able to see those until the electron microscope came about. The next one was the introduction of biochemistry and molecular biology. In 1977, scientists were able to compare base sequences in the RNA of organisms, and this led to the division of our prokaryotic group, or prokaryotic kingdom, into the archaea and the eubacteria. Then we had DNA studies, which were able to reveal evolutionary relationships and closeness of organisms. And what scientists are able to do and able to look at the bases in DNA strands between two different organisms and see how many similarities or differences there are, and work out how they fit together in the evolutionary chain. So what is the impact of technology in our understanding of classification? So technological advances have had a huge impact on biological classification systems over time, providing new information on biological connections between species, both past and present, the similarities between groups on data, structural and otherwise, and aiding scientists looking at and hypothesizing relationships between newly discovered species and those already known. So the light microscope led to the realization that all living things were made up of cells, which was the start of the need of a classification system, as all organisms were connected at one small common cell. So with the light microscope, we were able to see, obviously, first the difference between plant and animals. The electron microscope led to prokaryotic cells being discovered, demonstrating that while all organisms are made up of cells, some are made up of a different kind of cell, which, as we know, led us to the division between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Advances in geological technologies have led to changes in our information on how old certain species are. So obviously being able to look at fossils and where they're located within the fossil record. As we know, older fossils are at the bottom of layers of rocks, where the newer ones are at the top. So obviously being able to get an idea of the rocks using our radiometric dating, carbon dating, uranium dating, etc., we can tell roughly how old those fossils are, and then we can infer how old the species are. And then this helps when we discover new fossils of new species, we can fit them within the fossil record and start to piece together the jigsaw puzzle. Sorry. Okay, so biochemical technology is a recently developed technology, but has already led to discoveries which have developed and changed the biological classification system. So the way that this has happened is that DNA sequencing, the observation of mitochondrial DNA, and DNA to DNA hybridization, among other techniques, have led to this discovery of a wealth of information on how organisms are genetically related and what their evolutionary lineage is, in a way that structure alone could not demonstrate. So we've gone from being able to look at where organisms fit into the fossil record simply from fossils, and now this biochemical technology takes it to a whole new level. So DNA sequencing is obviously looking at the similarities between a sequence of DNA, observing mitochondrial DNA, Obviously, eukaryotes have mitochondria, whereas prokaryotes don't. And then DNA to DNA hybridization is where they take a strand of DNA from two different species, try to put them together, and they see how closely the two are related and can work out where they fit in the evolutionary timeline. So the discovery of genetic connections has demonstrated much more accurately what the relationships between organisms are. And obviously, technological advances have and continue to lead a developing and revisable classification system. So at the moment, the classification system that we know is the most recognized, most widely used, is the 5-kingdom classification system. However, scientists have been able to divide those prokaryotic groups into archaebacteria and eubacteria. However, it's not as widely accepted as the 5-kingdom system. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching.